Hi, I'm Hugh. I'm one of the flute consultants here at Just Flutes, and in this video I want to tell you about this Moore-Lamberson flute that we've currently got for consignment sale. The first question some of you may be asking yourselves is, who was Moore-Lamberson? Moore-Lamberson was a collaboration actually between Jack Moore and Tip Lamberson, both great American flute makers in their own right. Now, Tip Lamberson came to flute making after he tried some Powell flutes and he really liked one, and subsequently was told that there would be a 4 to 5 year wait, and rather than waiting all of that time he decided he would simply make his own flute. Jack Moore, on the other hand, worked for Armstrong Flutes for a long time and was responsible for the creation of their flagship Heritage line of instruments. During his time at Armstrong Flutes, Jack Moore really honed his skills alongside the likes of Tom Green and Bick Brannan, who later went off and formed Brannan Brothers. This was all happening at a time where there was really an explosion of new ideas with regard to flute design, and the likes of Elbit Cooper and William Bennett were really working to improve the scale and tuning of the flute, as well as coming up with new head joint designs. And many of these flute makers wanted to go off and explore these ideas and make their own flutes. By this time, Tip Lamberson had already established himself as a maker of some repute, and so when Jack Moore decided to go his own way and make flutes on his own, he paid a visit to Tip in Oskaloosa, Iowa, to ask for his help and advice. And Tip was incredibly supportive of his endeavours, which meant that later on, when Jack's business was flourishing and he couldn't keep up with the demand, he went back to Tip and they made flutes together. And that is how the Moore-Lamberson flute was born. This is one of only 11 flutes that the two makers collaborated on. And it was really far ahead of its time, because Jack Moore was one of the early adopters of the improvements made by Elbit Cooper and William Bennett, and incorporated them into his design. And what this means is that this has remained an incredibly modern and very playable instrument to this day. This is a silver flute with drawn tone holes, an offset G key, a C foot joint, closed holes, and a split E mechanism. But Jack Moore was also always on the lookout for ways to improve the mechanism of the flute, and he worked some of those improvements into this design. So as well as all those standard features, you'll also find there is a split F sharp and a Brosse F sharp. Like high E, high F sharp is a famously treacherous note on the flute, and so these alternative F sharps are designed to facilitate that. To use the split F sharp, you use the middle finger of the right hand to play that note, and you'll notice that the A key is built in two pieces, allowing it to go down independently of the B flat when you play F sharp. This stabilises the note and also helps with the tuning. The Brosse F sharp is this extra key down next to the low D, and it simply offers another alternative stable option for this tricky note on the flute. So I'll play you the three F sharps now, starting with the traditional one, and then following that with the split F sharp and then the Brosse F sharp. So actually what you can hear is that the split F sharp is a little bit flatter, which makes it useful when playing loudly or any situation where you need to flatten it. And the Brosse F sharp is a little bit sharp, which helps it to be useful in the opposite contexts where you need to make it a little bit higher, such as quiet playing. So that's the story behind the flute, but I'm sure you're wondering what it sounds like. So why don't I play it for you, and let's start with a bit of Ravel. So it's a flute with quite a lot of resistance, which is great for sort of soft, high, quiet playing because it gives a great deal of stability to the sound. But it keeps the sound quite malleable as well, which is just what you want, plenty of flexibility. So we've heard that this flute can be lovely and silvery up top, but it's capable of plenty of power and beef as well in the lower register. So why don't we take a bit of Mendelssohn as an example. And plenty of crisp articulation as well. This flute belonged to and was played for many years by a leading UK professional, the late Eva Stewart of the BBC National Orchestra of Wales, and a proportion of the proceeds from the sale of this instrument will be going towards Eva's favourite charity. So, click on the link below for more information about this flute on our website and to see our entire selection of new and pre-owned instruments. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thank you very much for watching, and happy fluting!